Actor Jeff Witzke has been keeping enviable company out in Hollywood these days. He's got a cameo role in the new George Clooney film, Up in the Air. He's also in the second season premiere of The Mentalist on CBS with Simon Baker. And he's the co-writer, co-producer, and co-star of a new web TV series pilot, House Husbands. Now, if Jeff Witzke is not quite a household name in your home yet, that's okay. You might remember him as the anti-smoking kidnapper in Thank You for Smoking, or as the Hollywood baby talent agent on the FX series Nip Tuck. And if you're still not sure, we'll cure that in the next 30 minutes. Jeff, welcome to Mr. Media.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Delighted to have you here. You've had a busy time of late.
I have been keeping busy, so I'm quite blessed and excited about that.
Now, you're just back from Toronto, I understand, where Up in the Air premiered. How did that go?
That went fantastic. It was quite a fun experience, and the theater was all abuzz because not only was the star George Clooney there and Jason Bateman, but Oprah decided to pop in and watch the film. So
really?
Yes. You know, she was just in the neighborhood, decided to stop by and catch a flick, I guess. Now she was up. she was up there for a movie she produced, and she is friends of Jason Reitman and the Reitman family. So she was quite excited to, I guess, come to the premiere, the world premiere. So it went quite well.
Yeah. Was that the first time that you had seen the finished film?
It is, which is always an exciting thing because I'd read the script months ago, and then Jason had asked me to read the stage directions for the table read, which was exciting, but then to see the final product was just mind-blowing and fantastic, and it's funny, it's touching, it's another great Reitman film.
I want to say it was in Entertainment Weekly a week or so ago that they were writing that they thought that this probably had an Academy Award nomination all over it for Clooney. Would you concur? I mean, I know you're not going to say anything bad about the film one way or the other, but is it that good?
Yeah, you know what? It really is. I think it could. I think what's interesting is Clooney gives a really kind of vulnerable performance that I don't know if we've necessarily seen this side of George Clooney in any films, like Michael Clayton, or even getting wacky with Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It's very it's funny yet touching yet vulnerable yet he's just good at what he does.
Now you have what's being described, I think, as a cameo role in that, but you work in that with George, right?
Yes, my scene is with George. I play the host of Goal Quest 20, which is like a huge motivational speaking convention in Vegas, which George's character, he is a corporate downsizer. He goes around the country firing people for a living and is so good at it that he does some motivational speaking on the side to explain to people how to be so good at what he does. So when he gets invited to this, he's very excited. So I kind of have a quick cameo as the host who introduces him, and then when he has a bit of a meltdown and walks off stage, I slightly confront him on just leaving. So
now, so people can identify you. Obviously, this is radio. Hopefully, they'll see a picture of you online. But can you give us a line from the movie that you?
Sure. Well, first of all, you'll know it's me because you'll see the big Goal Quest sign in Vegas, and you know that he's at the Goal Quest, and you will see George, but you'll hear me introduce him by saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker, Ryan Bingham." There you go, for free. That's one of my magical lines.
Very good. Well, Jeff, I haven't even given out our phone number, but there's someone on the switchboard. We'll take a chance. Oh, now they're gone. Never mind. Okay. I thought maybe someone was calling in for you there. So what does it mean to you to be in a movie that is going to be, no doubt, that big, and the scene that you do is with the star of the movie? What could that do for your career? And
Well, who knows? Hopefully good things. We'll just put that out there to the universe. That good things will happen from it. But to me, I'm just thrilled. I've been I've worked with Jason Reitman, the writer and director, before, actually, quite a few times. Actually, all the way back to his very first short film. I worked with him on that, and then he wrote me a part in his second short film, and then has written me a part in all of his other shorts. And so when it came time to do his first feature, Thank You for Smoking, he said, Jeff, I want you to play the kidnapper. And I'm like, oh, absolutely. And then he said, I want you to be in Juno, and I have another little cameo in Juno. And so then to be in this one, I'm just like absolutely feel blessed and so excited, and so if I'm even answering your question, I can't be anything but elated and excited, and the opportunity to spend the afternoon working with George was fantastic. To just be around someone who's so good at what he does, and one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Well, let's give people who may have seen Thank You for Smoking a chance to figure out exactly who you were in that movie. Here is a clip of Jeff Witzke in Thank You for Smoking. Listen up.
Smoke, smoke, smoke that cigarette.
Nick, we want you to stop killing people. So many people. 500,000 people a year in the U.S.
No, there's no data to support that.
Nick, you're not on TV anymore.
Hey.
Nick, how much do you smoke a day?
Hey, what are you doing?
According to the box, each one of those patches contains 21 milligrams of nicotine. That's like what? 1 pack?
Our industry has been working hand in hand with...
Nick, just listen, all right? It says here there are many adverse reactions from those things. Let's see, erythema, constipation, dyspepsia, dysmenorrhea. I don't even want to know what that means.
What do you want? I mean, I'm all ears here.
Oh, Nick. You don't look so good.
And I apologize if the audio was not quite loud enough. I will try to fix that on the next clip. What does Jason Reitman see in you, working with you so often? He obviously sees you as a certain type of person that fits...
Amazingly talented. No, I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'm sorry, continue your question.
I think you covered it.
No. I don't know if I could answer that question. Other than he sees something, and on top of a friendship. I think early on it was we were doing very guerrilla filmmaking, throwing together a short film, and so I'm sure at one point he just needed an actor. But then he's like, oh wait, Witzke's good. So, and it's really cool to have him in the short films writing stuff actually for me to actually fit his voice. You know what I mean?
Is there
although most of my characters are not nice people.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to be the one to say that, but yeah, I mean, I get that sense. Although I noticed in watching some of the pilot for House Husbands that you seem to play. And I guess it helps that you co-wrote, co-directed, co-produced, and co-star in that. You wrote yourself maybe a little nicer guy.
Just a little bit. I don't know. I love playing bad guys or jerks because it's fun. But I guess I wrote myself a little bit of a nicer guy because why not? Full range. And because I am a nice guy, I guess let my inner nice guy shine.
Well, let's. I've got another clip. This is from House Husbands. I think this will be a little bit louder. And if the caller wants to stay on the line and talk to Jeff Witzke, stay there. We'll come back to you right after this clip from House Husbands, and we'll have Jeff tell us a little bit about this.
Hey guys. Oh, hey. 2 years in the making, you finally escaped for lunch. How'd you pull that off?
Yeah, would you get fired?
Did you?
Yep.
Did you confront your boss about him and the jelly donut girl?
Yep.
Oh, I thought you weren't going to say...
You said something.
Yep. But he fired you? No, I got laid off.
Sounds like someone else got laid.
And off.
Oh!
Guys!
Now I want a jelly donut.
Tommy, eyes on the prize, man. You only got 14 pounds to go. Sorry. So, what are you going to do?
Basically, I got a 6-month severance package, but for all intents and purposes, I got fired.
And how'd the wife take that?
Yeah, about that. I'm not going to tell her. Yeah. Dude, not telling her is not going to go well. Me telling her isn't going to go well. Finding a job in this economy?
She won't even know because money is coming in from the severance, so I have 6 whole months to think.
So, you have nothing to do all day?
Well, no.
So, you can hang with us?
Tell us a little bit about, I think that explains a bit of it, but tell us a little bit about House Husbands and what's the status of that pilot?
Well, House Husbands, very quickly for everyone out there, is a web series idea a couple of buddies of mine, who you heard there in that clip, came up with about 3 guys whose wives make more than we do, and when my character gets fired, the other 2 guys who are stay-at-home husbands entice me to come and hang out with them. So it's kind of the adventures of 3 guys during the day, which is traditionally in America has been more of the female zone, to have kind of the 3 guys tackling what that world is like. So we wrote that and shot that and edited it together. And the current status is we've got a couple meetings out there, and we're trying to get someone who has some interest in kind of distributing it out to the web. But we've been getting a lot of great positive feedback about the project.
Well, it looks like fun, and it looks like a very timely project considering the economy. So that'll be interesting. I hope you'll find someone who will pick that up and let us see some more of that.
Well, thank you. Once it does, I'll grab the other guys, and we'll come back and talk to you, Bob.
That would be excellent, Jeff. Well, we've got someone on the line here. Let's go to the phones. Hi, do you have a comment or question for Jeff Witzke?
Yeah, I do. You were talking a little bit earlier about the work he's done with Jason Reitman, and I was just curious if there was one role in particular that he enjoyed more than others, or had some fun stories about.
Well, let's see. One more than others. I mean, obviously, The Kidnapper and Thank You for Smoking was great. But actually, probably one of my favorite roles was the first major short film that got recognition for Jason. Was called In God We Trust, which was went to the Sundance Film Festival and won several awards in short film festivals, in which I again played a not so nice guy in Purgatory, who basically is debating whether or not a guy can go to heaven or has to go to hell. So I'd say that'd be one of my favorites.
Thanks.
Thanks for the call. I'm thinking about that, and I'm wondering if maybe you start getting some of these roles that a younger James Woods would have gotten.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'll put that out there if anyone's looking for the young James Woods. Come to Jeff Witzke.
There you go. www.jeffwitzke.com. Anyone who wants me to be a young James Woods.
Now, you've also you've shot the second season premiere of The Mentalist.
Yes.
With Simon Baker. Tell us a little about that. What do you play, and how did that go? Well,
I'm sure this is gonna surprise you, but I play a bit of a jerk.
I sense a trend here, Jeff. Yeah.
I don't know. Now I've got a complex about it. Oh well, somebody's got to do it, so why not me? In the episode, I don't want to give away too much about what's going on, because I found there's actually a lot of people who when I let them know I'm doing it, they're so excited because they're like, "Oh, I love that show," and I think CBS has been quite happy that it got quite a fan base in its first year. But I play a realtor who is trying to sell a house, and I walk in, and there is Simon Baker's character just sitting in this empty house. And I, of course, confront him about it, and then he lets me know that he is investigating a homicide, which isn't the best way to sell a house. So I make a speedy exit with my client. But It was a really fun experience. He was great to work with, and actually, the day we worked was the day that he was nominated for an Emmy, which is, I guess, this Sunday. We'll find out whether he wins or not. But it was actually kind of cool to be there and meet him and say, "Hey, man, congratulations on your Emmy nomination." And he was so humble. He said, "Oh, thank you so much, but you know what? I'm trying to keep my head in the game here. We got a whole day of work to do, so I want to focus on that." And I'm like, "Well, that's a good thing."
Well, you did get him for a moment at some point because there's a great picture of the two of you together.
Yes.
And with him with his thumbs up right next to your head, so that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Now another TV appearance that you did was in Nip Tuck.
Yeah.
And we have I have a clip from that. I want to play that for everybody. Give a listen to this. And if you're a Nip Tuck fan, you will certainly recognize Jeff from this.
Oh, my. She said Granddaddy had good genes, but we're talking extra special genes.
I don't know if Kimber's fills you in, but she's getting in on the ground floor of $1 billion industry. We think Jenna can be the next baby Cindy Crawford.
So what's all this talk about changing her?
Dr. Troy, in theatrical parlance, Jenna has thin, villainous lips. People don't like that look on babies. They like full, bee-stung, sensual lips.
It's the Baby Dior people. They want to book Little Amber for the fall collection.
Hello, Mary. We're thrilled. What's the offer? We're looking for 5 digits, Mary. 10,000 a day.
1,000? I would do anal for that kind of money.
A limo with a fully stocked bar for Mom, and all wardrobe becomes property of Baby Amber. Love you, Mary. Stevie sends kisses. So, where were we?
Could you tell Christian how horrible and demeaning catalog work is?
It only pays about $2.75 a day. And be prepared to wait in hallways with a sea of snotty tots and poorly groomed moms.
We are not sharing Jenna's fortune with these lazy scumbags. I'll be our manager.
Good luck with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another fine human being I'm portraying. Botoxing babies.
There is something there. Now, tell me something. Do you feel like you've been able to plan out your career path, or has much of it stuff that you've kind of fallen into because someone else has spotted you and said, "I want that guy for this"?
I would say, that's the interesting paradox of Hollywood is you can work as hard as you want, but you can only work when someone else lets you work, if that makes sense, because it's always a producer, a director, someone else in acting deciding whether you're right for the role or not. So as much as you try to plan for a career, I think it's ultimately, at least at this stage where I am, up to some other people, which is one reason why my buddies and I decided to do our house husbands things, to have a little bit more control over our career. But I would say traditionally up to this point, it's because someone sees something in you, and whether it's Jason Reitman saying, "Oh, you know what, I need to write this for Jeff," or the producers of Nip Tuck, who actually turns out the director of the episode was big fans of Jason Reitman's shorts. And when I came into the room, he's like, "Oh, that's the guy from In God We Trust," and which didn't hurt, help me get the part. But it's. I always say work begets work. So just working is great and fabulous, and hopefully someone sees you and wants you in their next project.
Now, did I see that you did a voice for Family Guy?
Yes, I did. I got to play a Nazi guard in the Road to Germany episode where they time travel back to Germany.
Well, seeing that made me wonder. I mean, you because of all these kind of evil roles that you play, and you have this almost radio-like voice, announcer, because you do a lot of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Why haven't you worked more in animation? Have you?
It's something I am definitely looking to pursue more because it's a lot of fun, especially going to the Family Guy. And my favorite line, if I may, from the Family Guy is I get to scream "Das Poop," which, I mean, is hilarious. But I got to work with Seth MacFarlane. He actually directed me in the booth, and it was funny because as he was bringing me into the booth, I had never met him before and really wasn't paying attention. I just heard this guy saying, Jeff, you're up next. I'm like, gosh, that sounds like the dog from the show. Oh, my gosh, it's Seth MacFarlane. Of course, he does the voice of Brian the dog. So I got to do my part and my Nazi thing and scream dust poop and all that fun stuff. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I'm having so much fun. And walk out, and the casting director says, oh, Jeff, do you know Adam West? Because he was next in the booth. And I'm like, oh, my, Adam West? TV's Batman, of course. And I'm like, hello, Mr. West. He's like, hello, Jeff. It's a pleasure to meet you. I was like, I'm talking to Batman. So I'm like,
and now you're imitating Batman.
Exactly. He talked all about his drive in from Palm Springs, so he ate a power bar. I'm like, wow.
Isn't it funny how he and William Shatner became caricatures of themselves? I mean, it's just...
and they're working it, and they're making money off of it. I think it's great.
It is.
I guess I'll have to plan for my career how to make fun of me being such an evil person later in my age.
More animation, more
animation. That's the way to go. Animation.
I think that's it. Well, so before we wrap up, I'm kind of wondering what's ahead. What have you got? Do you have anything that's done, ready to go besides House Husbands, or are you starting anything soon?
House Husbands, and the other thing is I shot this summer a part in a independent feature called Reconciliation, and so that's, I think, currently being edited and probably come out next spring somewhere. A really interesting story from a writer-director, slightly autobiographical about a father and son reconciling their relationship after 24 years. So I just play a friend of the father's. Again, another not nice person. But so I have that, and just working on a script I'm writing, and just not sitting still. I'm not good at just twiddling my thumbs. So that's
good.
And auditioning and whatnot. So
well, it certainly seems like an industry where you have to take control whenever you can to keep yourself busy.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and I do some writing of my own, obviously with House Husbands and some freelance writing. So it's always good to at least stay creative and make your own opportunities if you can. No, I'm not in the media capital, the new media capital of the world, St. Petersburg. Which, by the way, I have to tell you, I know St. Petersburg well. My grandparents lived there for many a year, so
you obviously.
I know it's a budding hub of media. So,
well, we do have the Home Shopping Network here and Mr. Media, and it kind of falls off the cliff after that.
Do you need anything else? Do you need?
No, that's true. I certainly don't. That's enough for me. Well, folks, listen. You can catch Jeff Witzke in the second season premiere of The Mentalist, starring Simon Baker on CBS this fall. You can also see him, as we discussed, in a cameo appearance in the new George Clooney film, Up in the Air, and learn more about Jeff at his personal website, which is www.jeffwitzke.com. That's JEFFWITZKE.com. And Jeff, are you out there? Are you doing Twitter, or Facebook, any of that kind of stuff as well?
I do a little bit of Facebook. I have not done the Twitter thing. I don't think I can. To me, that's just too much. It hurts my head.
That seems quite reasonable to me.
Exactly. Nothing against anyone who does it. Many of my friends do. I'm like, I just can't cross that line. I will stay Facebook and email. I can't Twitter.
Some of his best friends are tweeter, whatever's.
That they are.
Well, anyway, Jeff, it was a pleasure to get to know you, and wish you continued luck. And when you get that House Husband show launched and going regularly, come on back. We'll talk about it.
You got it.
All right. Thanks so much for being on the show.
You got it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And folks, for more interviews with your favorite TV and film stars, you can surf over to our main website, www.mrmedia.com. That's where you can listen to my earlier conversations with Kirk Douglas, Billy Bob Thornton, Jeff Garlin, and Cheryl Hines of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and many more. And if you liked what you heard today, please think about writing an online review of Mr. Media, casting a vote for Mr. Media, or marking Mr. Media as one of your favorites. Whether you listen on Blog Talk Radio, TrueSlant, Pointer Online, Digital Journal, Vox, MediaFly, Podfeed.net, Blueberry, Zencast, Zimbio, Current, or Odeo. Subscribe to Mr. Media on iTunes and you'll never miss a show. Just search Mr. Media Interviews from within iTunes and subscribe for free. Or subscribe to Mr. Media's blog on the Amazon Kindle Reader. You can also listen with a piece of string and a tin can in many locations. If you've got an idea for a guest, email me directly at bob@andelman.com. That's ANDELMAN. You can also follow me on Facebook or on Twitter, www.twitter.com/Andelman. Thanks so much for joining us today. Always appreciate when you give up a little piece of your day and spend it with us.